Hello student, I am continuing the same topic what I have told you in the last class about the option contract. It is only the introductory section. Today I am elaborating the same topic little bit more, and today we are starting with the classification of the option contract. We can classify. In last class also we discussed this call option and put option. We can classify the option into two different category, is it call option and put option, and the other classification may be we are classifying the option as a European option and American option. European option and American option. Now starting with a call option. What do you understand by call option? And when you are taking a call option? Call option basically give the buyer or the owner the right to purchase a particular asset at predetermined price in future date. So here you are getting a right to purchase underlying, in our case it is stock or security, is the underlying asset which we want to purchase while we are exercising the right of call option. So here if a person is buying or if a person is a owner of call option, he basically buying a right to purchase a underlying asset at predetermined price in future date. So here the buyer or the owner of the call option is only having the right. He is not having any obligation. But there must be the other party who is selling the option, then only one can buy the option. You may understand, think that two party A and B are there. One party is a buyer of option. A is the buyer of the option or the owner of the option. Call option. We are talking about the call option. We take call option in the perception that from that particular level, the price of underlying security or the price of the underlying asset will go up. We are having such type of perception when we are buying a long position or buying a call option of any underlying security. Think that a person A is a buyer who is owning or who is buying a call option and B is a seller. Here you understand, think that A is buying a right to buy a underlying asset, but B is only having the obligation. B is having the obligation and A is having a right. Here the transaction will occur between A and B through exchange. Obviously there is A and B doing their trading through the platform which is given by the exchange. A buy the call option and B sell the call option. But here the one party is having a right and the other party is having an obligation. It means if A wants to purchase an underlying security at the maturity period in a future, the B is obligated to fulfill the obligation, it means the B is basically compelled to sell that particular asset at pre-decided price to A. So here A is having the right and B is having the obligation. B is having, A is basically having a leverage over a B. A, if wants to exercise his rights, he may exercise. If he don't want to exercise his right, he may not exercise. But if the A will exercise, B is having a compulsion. Here in the case of call option, basically the position is like that. B is actually having the security. The underlying asset is with the underlying asset or the security is lying with the B. B is already having the underlying asset, and he is, that's why, writing a call option. He is a writer. B is also known as writer of the call option, and when he is writing a call option, A is the person who is purchasing this right to exercise that particular at particular price in the future date to purchase that underlying asset. So that is the basic transaction which is occurring between A and B. So one thing you need to remember in the case of call option, that the call option owner is having the right to buy that particular asset in the future, but the writer or the seller is actually having the ownership or actually having the underlying asset with them. They are holding the underlying asset, and the seller is writing the call option, and they are purchasing the right to exercise that option in the future. Think one, I'm giving you more elaboration on this thing, that time T is the time or the at the time you are entering in the call option, and time T, which is in caps, is the time of maturity when you are going to exercise your right at a strike price K. K is the strike price or exercise price or the predetermined price which is already determined at the time of the call option you are entering. Think that a person is taking a call option with a strike price of 100. Now at the current position, the price in the market is think 100, and he is purchasing the right to buy in the market at 105. When we are purchasing a call option, basically we are purchasing the call option when we are having a positive perception about a particular stock. In the spot market, if the price of particular underlying asset is rupees 100 and you are purchasing a call option at the price of 105. Now at the time of expiry, at time T, what is the position? How you analyze the position? Think there is a two situation there. You may suffer a loss. The two condition may occur. May the price at spot price at time T will become 110, or it may become 90. Now what will be the situation? In which situation the owner of the call option will going to exercise his right? Now if you have already taken what strike price? 105 is your selected strike price. Now at the maturity at time t, the spot price of particular underlying asset is 110 and you are having a right to purchase that particular asset at 105. Now, what the A will do? Obviously, the A will exercise his rights. Why he is exercising his right? Because he is having a leverage or he is having a gain or profit when he is exercising his right. He is having a right to purchase a particular underlying asset at lower price than what is prevailing in the market at that particular time. And that's why he is going to exercise his right to ripe a profit of 5 rupee. What he will do? He will exercise his right at T. He will going to buy particular asset at 105 and sell it in the spot market at 110. Then he will ripe a profit of 5 rupees. Here I am neglecting the premium part. We are making a simple calculation only. Later on we will discuss the premium also, that how the upfront premium is also enter in this calculation. So it means what? If the spot price is higher than the strike price, there is a gain in the case of the call option. If the call option owner is having this type of situation, the strike price at the time of, the spot price at the time of maturity is exceeding the strike price, then there is a gain which is right by the owner of the call option. And the seller of the call option or the writer of the call option is obligated to sell this particular asset at 105 because he is having an obligation. When the A or when the buyer is exercising his right, over whom he is exercising? He is exercising his right on the seller, on the writer, and writer is having an obligation to sell this. Maybe he is suffering a loss because currently the spot price is 110 and he is obligated to sell it at lower price because he already given this commitment to the call option buyer that whenever he will exercise his right, he is ready to sell that particular underlying asset at 105. And in this situation, the call option owner will gain a 5 rupee of profit. But when the situation, will be different at the time of maturity, may the price will fall from 100 and it become 90 at the time of maturity, then what will happen? Then now the position of A, what is the position of A? What the A will think? That he is having a right to purchase a particular asset at 105, but currently that asset is available at lower price than what he has selected for buying. He has selected 105, but that particular asset is available only at 90. As a rational investor, what you will do? You will not going to purchase a particular asset at higher price than the price which is already available in the spot market, which is lower than your selected price. You are not having, the owner of the option is not having any compulsion. There is no any legal bindation on him. He is not going to exercise his right when the price is 90, because here he will have a loss of, if he will exercise, he will have a loss of 15 rupees. And that's why he is not going to exercise his right in not exercise. Not exercise his right when the spot price at time t is lower than the strike price. It means his loss will be only 0. No gain, no loss, because he is not exercising his right. So I think you understand what I am telling you about a call option. Now I am taking the same example for the put option. When we are saying that put option, what is put option? There is certain difference in the case of put option. The owner of the put option is having a physical possession of underlying asset. In the case of call option, the writer is having a physical possession of security. But in the case of put option, the owner, the buyer is having a physical possession of the underlying asset and he is also buying a put option. Basically here the buyer is purchasing the right to sell underlying asset at predetermined price in the future. Now, when you are taking a put option, when you are having a negative perception about a particular security or about a particular asset, when you are thinking that from this level the price will go down, then you are taking a put option. Now, we are taking the same example for put option also. Think that we are taking a timeline, we are taking a position at time t when the spot price of particular asset, think that asset security is x, which price is 100 or spot price is 100 currently prevailing in the market, and a person is purchasing a put option at the same price, 100 rupees. He is purchasing a right to sell particular underlying asset. Now this is the strike price, K, 100 is the strike price. Here 100 is the strike price what is selected by the call option, put option. We are talking about the put option. Here, put option buyer. Here also one more party is there who is writing the put option, who is also known as writer in this case also. Now here also the same thing will occur. In the case of the buyer, he is only having a right, but the person who is writing the put option, he is having an obligation. Whenever the owner or the buyer exercising his right, the writer or the seller is obligated to fulfill that particular right at the time of maturity. Now we have a calculation. Think that at the time of maturity, at time t, the spot price, we can take the two conditions. If at the maturity the stock price become 110 in the market, and think that the other is the 90. We are taking these two conditions. Now what will happen? In which condition the put option buyer will exercise his right, and in which option he is not going to exercise his right? We do a little bit calculation to understand this. Think that in the spot market, the prevailing price at the time of maturity of particular underlying asset is 110, and you are having a right to sell that particular asset at 100. What you will do? Definitely you are going to sell it at 110 and not going to sell it at a lower price, because here you are getting a more profit than what you have selected for your put option. You are going to not exercise your right here. not exercise your right. Here you will get a zero gain and loss. There is no any gain and loss in this case. But when the price, if think that at the time of maturity the price is 90 in the spot market, what will happen? You are having the right to sell that particular asset at 100. You are very happy, you are delighted that this particular asset is already gone down as per your perception. Here the price is against your perception. You have taken a put option thinking that the price will go down, but the price will move in the opposite direction as per your perception. But here, if the price will 90 at the time of maturity, it match your perception. It is as per your perception, and you are going to exercise your right of selling at 100 and buying that particular asset from the spot market at 90 and reaping the profit of 100. So what will happen here? Strike price is 100 minus spot price. You will reap a profit of 10 rupees here. So it means in this case you are going to exercise your right, and in this case you are not going to exercise your right. In next class we will do little bit more elaboration on this option contract. For today that's all. Thank you.